Okay, let's see here. Trevor Williams. His coaches. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think this is a good person here I can use. Okay, so I'm just going to go in. You can see he's got multiple coaches here. I'm just going to go in as Richard Wiley really fast. Let's see here. Okay, so now it's time to approve or deny matches. Okay, so there's 5 matches that this coach has to approve or deny. So you can see here all the different matches, but let's just go through one example here. Okay, Oscar versus Jorge. Let's say that this matchup was made. Okay, this Oscar, he only has 3 fights. Jorge has 51 fights. I'm probably not going to want to approve that matchup. There's clearly an experience difference there. So I'm going to select deny matchup here, and okay, so like why are you denying the matchup? Is it because Oscar is injured, or is it because you want a different opponent? So we're going to say that no, we are requesting a new opponent. We're going to say too much of an experience difference.
Here's what I found.
Whoops. Okay, so that's why the match was not approved. So this keeps the fighter in the event, but it requests a new matchup. Now, if I had denied it and said, hey, he's injured, it would completely pull him out of the event. So for instance, here we have Joseph versus Monty. Let's say, for example, I want to say cannot attend event. Okay, so this is going to cancel the match and remove them from the event. And let's say it's because he's injured. So then when you send the request, now the match is canceled and Monty has been taken out of the event. The other option is requesting the new opponent. So those are the 2 options there. But this actually looks like a good matchup. 2 fights, 5 fights, 8 years, 9 years. Okay, both 95 pounds. So then next step for me to do is to confirm the matchup. So I just select confirm match. And now if I go to the actual roster, then I can see that the match was approved by Joseph's team. But this is under a tournament, so I don't want to show that example. I think maybe showing this one is the better one. So let's see here, 8 fights, 4 fights, Ignacio versus Ricardo. So I'm going to select confirm match here, and then we'll see that that this team has approved the matchup. Okay, so now if I go to Gladiators Challenge, and this is viewable by the public, I can see which team has approved the matchup and which team hasn't. So if I go to matches here, okay, so I believe you can see here this is shown by the public, all the matches that were created and which ones we're still awaiting for confirmation. So the one that I did just approve is, I believe, going to be down here. Okay, here it is. So Ricardo versus Ignacio. So we just approved it, so now there's a green check mark. Most of the time, almost all of these are going to be like this. very few times coaches are not approving matches for whatever reason, and those tend to get canceled because they still haven't been approved. But it's a good way of seeing, if your opponent has approved it or not, or what's going on. Are there any questions about this? Justin, is it clear?
I got you.
Okay, awesome. So that's the main idea behind approving and denying matches. Remember, you just go to match approvals here, and you're just able to approve and deny them. Now, let's say, for instance, you approve the matchup, 2 months before the show, but then 1 week before the show, the fighter, I don't know, they break their ankle during jump roping or something. I don't know. So now you've already approved it, but it turns out you actually have to withdraw from the event. Okay, so the next thing you do here is, let's go back to a Gladiators Challenge, and let's look at the event that we did just approve. Okay, so it was Ricardo versus Ignacio. This is the event, Gladiators Challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select withdraw. Okay, so this is going to withdraw Ricardo from Gladiators Challenge. Now, I once again have two options. I can either say I cannot attend the event, or I can request a new opponent. However, in this case, I want to say Ricardo sustained an injury. Okay, so this is now going to pull Ricardo. It's going to cancel the matchup. The other team is going to be notified that the match has been canceled, and now the other fighter is going to probably need to be rematched with somebody else by the matchmaker. So both the matchmaker gets a notification and the opposing team. So now I send the request, and that's what you'll see. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys really quickly this sort of text message that you'll get. Let me see here. When a match is approved, when it's denied, and when it's been created. Okay. So right over here, so let's see here. When a matchup, let's see here. Okay, so when a match has been added, or when a fight has added let's see here. When a fighter has been added to an event, the matchmaker is going to get this notification here. And then when they have canceled it, let's see here, I believe. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, let's see here. So that's what you see as a matchmaker when a fighter has joined your event, and then when a fighter has pulled out. Trying to find a good example here. But you'll basically receive a text notification that says, the opponent has pulled out for this matchup under this event, basically. And that way you'll be notified, and you can make adjustments from there. So let's take a look here. These are all related to a tournament, so I don't want to use those as an example. But yeah, sorry, I couldn't find an example there. But you'll receive the text notification, and you'll also receive an email. Okay, let's see here. Do I have any other questions about that, or? Okay. So now I just want to hop into, so that's approving and denying matches. That's creating a profile as a coach. That's creating a profile for a fighter, and that's adding them to an event. The next thing I kind of wanted to go over was like the bout sheets. So let's get back in here. Let me go back in here as Eddie really fast. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to go back to Matchmaker, and I'm just going to show you guys some of the automation that comes with once you create an event. It gets rid of the headache of trying to create your own bout sheet and all of that. So I'm going to go to bout sheet here. So right now we have 22 matches on this event that we created, okay? The first thing I want to do is I want to sort the matches based on the order that I want them in. So let's say I want to put the smaller, less experienced fighters earlier on in the show. So I can just select sort by age and weight here. And boom, now it's sorted them out. And then you'll see here you have the 8-year-olds, 8 versus 9, 10. And as you go down the list, you'll notice that they just get older. The next thing I want to do is, let's say I want to move Will versus Ronaldo here. I want to make them the first match. So I can just select there, and I can put the number 1, press enter, and now this becomes the very first match. The next thing I can do is, let's say I want to take match number 8, and I just want to move it up a couple, so I can just hit the arrow there. And I can also use the arrows to just move some of the matches around as I see fit. I can also add intermissions here. So let's say I want to add a 15-minute intermission after match 10. So I just select add intermission, and let's say 15 minutes after match 10. Boom. And now I just go to the bottom here, match 10. And then we have an intermission here. So this just lets me adjust the schedule of the bout sheet as best as I see fit. And the next thing I want to do is I want to go in and basically look at the bout sheet that will soon be printed. So let's say I've sort of organized the matches in a way that I like, but now is the day of the weigh-in and it's the day of the fight. And then there's maybe certain changes going on. Some fighters didn't show up, some showed up weighing heavier, some requested a corner change, etc. So this is very handy for making adjustments on the fly. So let's say that Joseph versus Richard here, this is a matchup that, let's say Joseph didn't show up. So what I can do is I can select remove Joseph. Okay, opponent to replace is Joseph, and I can either enter in a new fighter, just enter them in on the fly as a walk-in, or I can add a fighter that's been removed from one of the other bouts because maybe their opponent didn't show up, and I can go ahead and add them here. But let's just go ahead and put one on here on the fly. Let's say it's Derek Lewis. Okay, now let's say he's also 95 pounds. Let's say 6, 25, 20, 14. Okay. So now I just replace the opponent, so it's going to get rid of Joseph and it's going to replace him with Lewis. Okay, so I see here Richard versus Derek, and so you can either remove one opponent, or let's say this entire matchup has been scrapped. So all I have to do here is just select, go to menu and go to remove bout. So which bout do I want to remove? Let's say bout number 6. So I just select that. And this is Michael versus Luke. Okay. And I'm going to just remove them. Okay, now they've been removed. And then the next thing I want to do is, let's say I want to make sure, let's say that somebody showed up and they're not weighing 95 pounds. So maybe they're weighing 97. So the match has to happen at 97 pounds. Like let's say Monty versus Gene here. So I can just go ahead and select the weight of the bout. Just put it at 97 pounds. Boom. So now this matchup is happening at 97 pounds. I can also edit the time minutes per round. So this is 3 minutes per round. I can just select edit here. And the maximum that's allowed is going to be based on Appendix F. So you can't have a 4-minute bout because this can't exceed 3 minutes, but you are allowed to decrease it. Maybe you have a lot of fights on the show. So maybe I can make this a 2 minutes per round. Select save there, and now you have 2 minutes per round there. I can also, let's see here, I can also change corners. So let's say Jeremiah versus Benny. Let's say Jeremiah, I want to move him to the red corner for whatever reason. So I just select edit here, and then I just select change to the red corner. And now Jeremiah's red corner, Benny's in the blue corner. I can also look at the matches that were deleted. Maybe there was, for whatever reason, I just want to keep track of the matches that were deleted, and maybe there's a walk-in that I can try to replace one of the fighters with. So that's just taking a look at the deleted matches. And then finally, when I'm all done editing this bout sheet, next thing I can do is I can either email it to myself in PDF, or I can just have it viewable here. So I'll just go ahead. Oh, and you can also show their USA boxing number and their city and state on the bout sheet. So I'm just going to go with show USA boxing number, and then I'll select menu, select print bout sheet, and now this is going to be converted to PDF. It takes about 15 to 30 seconds to do that, and then you'll see the printable bout sheet. And if you also wanted to, you can email it. So okay, so now it's done converting it, and you can see the actual bout sheet. Okay, so this is the bout sheet here, and it shows their USA boxing number. Now Derek here, this is the fighter that I added on the fly. It says that he's missing his USA boxing number, but other than that, that's everything that's good here. So you can just print off as many as you want of these bout sheets. You can fit up to 40 bouts on here, by the way, in one single page. So that makes it pretty easy if you want to edit on the fly. Whoops. Okay. So that's the bout sheet, the bout sorting. I guess, let me see here. Do I have any general questions about anything, or? Okay, I do want to show you guys a couple other things here. So if you're an official, we do have some features for you. So the next thing you can do as an official is if you want to add yourself to an event, maybe you're going to be one of the officials there. So from the home page here, you can select the event that you are going to officiate at. So let's say, let's see here, which one was it that we were looking at? Gladiators Challenge. Okay, over here. So I'm going to just select this event, and now I can look at all the details of the event. Okay, so right here I can just select officiate for event. Looks like this user's already done that, but let's say I want to, here, let me actually log in as somebody else really quickly. Okay. So this is the user that I created earlier. So let's say that he's not only a coach, but he's also an official, right? So so there's basically two profile types. There's fighter and non-fighter. All non-fighters, whether you're a coach, official, or a matchmaker, you can add fighters to your team, you can create events, and you can also add yourself as an official to events. Okay, so let's go back to the home page here, and let's add John to an event as an official. So let's say this event here, Gladiators Challenge, I'm just going to select it. Okay. So right here, oh sorry, this is a tournament, so not the one I wanted to select. Let me go back here. Okay, yeah, I believe it's this one. Okay, so right here it says, I mean, we're just looking at the event details, but the officials present. So far I have Eddie Jones confirmed as one of the officials. So if I want to add myself as an official, I just select here, officiate at event. And if I don't have my USA Boxing number entered as a coach, it's going to request that I enter it. That way they can verify that you are indeed a registered official. So I can just select the official for event, and now it's added John Larry as an official for the event, and this is going to be viewable by the chief of officials or anybody else. The perk to adding yourself as an official is it also shows up on your profile for the number of events that you've officiated for. The other thing it does is I'm allowed to, let me take a look here. Okay, so for this coach, let's see here. I do also want to add that I'm an official. So you just go to edit, edit profile, and then you can just select official. Okay, so now you've added coach and official under your role. If I save that, then it's going to let me access all of the bout sheets for the events that I'm involved in. So now if I go back here, I can see officiating events is available. And now I can look at, okay, which event am I officiating? I'm officiating, I've signed up for Gladiators Challenge. It gives me the info there, but then I can also go to the bout sheets and access them. So let's say I want to look at Gladiators Challenge. I want to look at there's a regular bout sheet and then there's a more detailed one. So the detailed bout sheet looks like this. It just has more information about each fighter. So let's say James versus Cinco here tells me their weight, date of birth, who their coach is, number of fights, etc. So you can just kind of go through the list here. And this is good for approving matches, approving fighters ahead of a matchup just to confirm that they've been registered and stuff like that. You can also email this or print this out. Okay, so that's one type, and then the other bout sheet is one that I already showed. And yeah, and then you can also withdraw as an official from there, so it's all accessible. And then we're probably also soon going to add the ability for officials to enter in the match results for a match, and that way it'll be a lot easier to print off match results the second match is complete, and it'll be very easy to read them if you guys need to enter them into Match Tracker or something like that. So it'll just be automated. I can kind of show you maybe a little bit here. You have to go in as a different user. Okay, let's see here. So we only have this in the tournament feature right now, which we haven't yet released to the public, but let me just show you something real quick with regards to match results. So you go to Bout Sheet and Match Results here, and match results will look something like this. Okay, there it is. So let's say that this matchup still hasn't happened here, Tyrone versus Ignacio. It'll look something like this. So, okay, so who won? So you'll just select the winner. So let's say Tyrone here, and how did they win? You can enter in all the different ways that they won. So let's say he won on points, And then, what's the high score? What's the low score? Can enter in whatever. Let's say it was 3